DJ Waldow here, Director of Community at Blue Sky Factory, and today I'm going to be reviewing backcountry.com's email. This was actually an email I received just this morning, as you can see up here, just 2 hours ago. First thing to look at is the subject line, 2011 Newest Camp Tech. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but obviously it's enough to create some kind of interest for me to open. I really like that it's coming from backcountry.com. They don't try to do anything fancy with somebody's name. It's very clear. I wanted to show this email first with images off. Clearly, if you're backcountry.com, images are important. Visuals really critical to getting people to not only engage with the email, but hopefully to click through. But you can see this email with images off. This is how it looks in my Gmail inbox. And so a couple things, I realize there's going to be one big image, I'm guessing, here when we jump into this. But one thing you will see is they're using a couple different tactics up here. First, they're using the pre-header up here so you can view this message online and a link to backcountry.com. They're also using what I would call bulletproof buttons. In fact, that was a term I learned from Lisa Harmon at Smith Harmon, who's now a responses company. But you can see here, this renders, these links and bullets render with images turned off. That means they're basically just written in HTML, but they look very similar to a bullet. So you can see something, at least, when I'm viewing this with images off. Of course, all of this at the bottom is also viewable with images off. So I'm going to go ahead and display the images. Let's see what we've got here. As expected, clearly imagery is very, very important for backcountry.com. And now, all of a sudden, for me, the subject line makes sense. It's very consistent here in the image, the 2011 Newest Camp Tech. So you can see that they're promoting some stuff to go camping with. And there's a couple other images also here and some calls to action. But clearly, this is the main call to action at the top. So again, I like that it's consistent, like the subject line is consistent with the main call to action. One suggestion for Backcountry is at the very top here, as I mentioned before, this is what I would call the pre-header or the snippet text. They've got a link to backcountry.com and they've got a link to view the online version. I'd suggest also putting some type of link up there to the main call to action. So there's something to do with our findings, and I'm not going to click through on this quite yet, but I would put some kind of link up there also to let people go and engage with that content right away in that pre-header. Remember, this pre-header stuff, this stuff right up here, is stuff that you see in your inbox right away, and often can be determined whether or not somebody's going to open a message based on what they see up there. Some other things that I think may be missing from this particular email, it looks like below the fold here they've got a lot of other stuff, a lot of other ways to navigate through their site, which works. They sort of throw in this Twitter and Facebook icon, and for those that have heard me talk about this before, I think this is really a missed opportunity here. It's great that they include them, but why should I follow you on Twitter? Why should I become a fan of backcountry.com on Facebook? So consider integrating those and giving me a little more reason of why I should. It could be some type of contest, it could be some other incentive, it could be just telling me what valuable content I'm going to get on those two social networking sites that I'm not going to get in this email. Looks like they've also got some ways to join the community, and as I hover over these, they've got reviews, questions, answers, photos, and video. So similar to that, give me a reason to engage with you here. What's going to be different? What can I get here different than I get in the email? And finally, as you know, I talk a lot about this concept of making your emails shareable. I don't see anything in this email that allows me to easily share it with my network. And so what I mean by that is some type of link, we call it SWIN or SWYN, something that gives me ability to take this email and post a web version of it on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or other social networking sites. And remember, that helps to not only create more eyeballs on your content, but also allows other people to subscribe to receive emails, in this case from backcountry.com. So again, those are some suggestions for backcountry.com. This is DJ Waldow, Director of Community at Blue Sky Factory.